3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast. It's been a while since we've done one, and I apologize for that, but I'm here with Jake again.
What's up?
And so since last podcast, 3 months have passed, I think, maybe 4. There was plans of doing lots during the summer on the channel. That was what we were talking about at the beginning of last podcast, but man, did the summer not go as I thought it was going to go when I was recording that podcast.
Yeah, we were planning on working together, but Peyton decided to stay down, so he decided to work a different job, so we weren't together, so we couldn't film podcasts.
Yes, but we're back, and we'll try our best to get a couple out, because this is Jake's last semester at school, and then he's going to be heading out on a mission, hopefully.
Yep, so won't be here very long.
No, so I want to record these as we can. Another update, I don't know if anyone even cares, but in that last podcast, I talked about how Miles had challenged me to do like 3,000 push-ups.
Oh, I forgot about that.
In the month of April. I did it, and I was one of the only ones that finished it.
That's impressive.
I was proud of myself for that.
I did 0.
I know. You made fun of me for it, and I probably deserved it because I probably looked ridiculous.
I mean, I like seeing you sweat.
Okay. Moving on. Crap, where do I even go from there?
Hey, you're
speaking of sweating,
the one making it weird.
My job that I worked, my first one, I worked multiple jobs this summer.
That was
not a good segue.
Such a stretch for a transition.
Thank you. I haven't done this in a while. Give me a break. One of my jobs working the summer was doing landscape work for a golf course, and the golf course is actually the same golf course that they filmed High School Musical 2 at. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't get to reenact anything. I'm pretty sure all the like ex-felons or whatever I was working with probably made fun of me pretty hardcore.
But I mean, you just gotta do it, and then you're never gonna see him again.
You're right. I should have done that.
It's on my bucket list to recreate the Bet on It dance.
The thing is we were redoing the golf course, so I don't even know if it's possible.
It doesn't look the same.
Yeah, the pool looks the same. The pool actually is way smaller than I expected. Because they filmed that there too. I have a picture there.
That last scene in the movie, they cram a ton of people in there.
It is very, very small. I wonder if they've redone it since then.
And just shrunk it somehow?
Well, because there was they could have very easily just shrunk, taken a bunch of, or maybe they did some editing magic because it is not as big as it looks.
That's probably more likely as they did some editing or something.
I'm talking about the final scene with they're jumping off those rocks and stuff.
Yeah, like the dance party.
Yeah.
Where they sing All for One.
Yeah, that song. It looks the same. It's just way small. So I don't know how you crammed so many people into this. But yeah, that was kind of cool. Working there. They didn't film all of the movie there, but they filmed a good amount of it there. So I saw places and I was like, hey, that's in the movie.
Yeah, that's cool. You'd be like, I'm here. Yeah. I am Zac Efron.
Except I don't think I'm Zac Efron because I was carrying buckets of chicken poo for fertilizer across the field.
He was carrying golf clubs and stuff.
You're right. Except I think the chicken poo smelled a whole lot worse. Buckets and buckets full. That was a hard job. Really, really hard job. I would have made a lot of money if I stayed, but I did not stay for very long because it was... The hard work didn't necessarily scare me away. It was the fact that I most definitely was being underpaid, which is saying something, so I was getting paid a lot. But
sounds like it's just bad management.
The management was bad. The manager actually was... I don't know if this is exactly true because I heard it from down the line. I didn't hear it from a good source, but I was told that the manager is being pressured to resign because it was supposed to be done before, the remodeling was supposed to be done before I even started working there, and I think they just barely finished it 2 weeks ago.
So he was late, and so they wanted to make him quit.
Yeah, or something along those lines. Like he just made, I don't know. I feel like he did an okay job. It wasn't necessarily his fault. It was just there was a lot. I think it was a lot bigger than they managers and the higher ups expected it. That's a big project, remodeling an entire golf course, because you have to tear out what's already there, and then where we are, it's hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, they should not have done that in the summer.
So,
they should have waited till the winter.
Trying to, it was just it was hard work. There's lots of stories from there. I could probably get into those some other time if we need to talk about those. My other job I worked during the summer was scooping ice cream, and it wasn't that bad.
Was some great stories from scooping ice cream.
Not that many, really. Yeah, I actually talked to a bunch of those coworkers still, and I guess a bunch of dramas has happened after I quit. So that was...
Peyton was the glue holding that ice cream shop together.
No, I was not. Actually, I think the majority of the people couldn't stand me, but that's fine. I wasn't there to make friends. I was there to scoop ice cream.
Peyton, 2021.
Thank you. Yeah, quote that. How about you? What were you up to?
Well, I was also doing landscaping just up north, where it wasn't so freaking hot. I don't know. I'm sure I have plenty of stories. No, actually, I don't. It was so freaking boring. Yeah. Because the year before, there was 4 of us. We're all friends, and so it was a lot of fun. This year, there was none of my friends there, and I was kind of like managing a bunch of kids who were younger than me, and I also had a manager above me who wasn't the most organized, so I was like stuck in the middle trying to figure things out, and it was just a major headache. Luckily, I was paid well, and I made it through the summer, but I'm not going back because, yeah, it's money's not everything. Some things you just they're worth more than money, and that headache was not worth it.
That's kind of where I was at too. My mental health, I guess you could say, was not very good.
My mental health was fine. I just like wanted to punch people sometimes.
Yeah, that's healthy mental state.
Or scream at them.
Yeah, that's healthy.
And I often did inside my head. I'd either envision myself beating them up or screaming at them.
I don't think I've really ever seen you really raise your voice.
It's all in here.
Oh.
It's all inside my head.
Every time I've pissed you off, like, I'm surprised she hasn't yelled at me. You probably did.
You just kind of like see me looking off into space or something. It's a good chance I'm picturing something inside my head that I'd like to do, but I know it's not appropriate.
Again, healthy mental state Jake is in. No, yeah, mine. That's another reason why I didn't stay at that landscaping job.
Like, okay, think of this.
Okay.
Have you ever seen someone with like a big bucket of popcorn?
Yes, and you just want to slap the bucket of popcorn.
Or like a drink in someone's hand, you're just like, and you just want to slap it. I think about that a lot. It's just satisfying to think about that.
At the ice cream shop I was working at, they stacked all their cones at the end of so it was like 4 freezers, and at the back was all the cones, so the scoopers would go grab the cone and then they'd scoop, right? And
I thought you were talking about traffic cones for a second. Like
no, like sugar cones.
Yeah.
Sugar cones. Not construction. And there was one day I was walking by, and in my head I was like, you gotta slap all of those cones on the ground. And I put my hand back to slap it, and then I had to stop myself, like, that's not a good idea. Turn around, then my manager was like just looking at me, and so I was like kind of just like did this thing and like scratched my back.
Your hand hovered above them.
I was like, the problem is I wasn't about to smack these, but in reality, in my head, I thought it was a good idea in the moment. Yeah, there was I don't know, there was a lot of good story. Like there's a lot of good stories I can go into with, or not maybe not good, but just kind of like funny stories I can get into with that landscaping job, but the crew wasn't overly appropriate all the time, so most of the jokes aren't the best.
Yeah,
the situations aren't the best.
I'd say most landscaping construction jobs, the jokes aren't very appropriate.
Yeah.
Not for our podcast.
No, not for our podcast. But yeah, so that's kind of like a little update what's going on. Um, I guess so. We mentioned Jake's in his last semester. I've got 3 more left. Still studying graphic design. And what are you graduating with?
It's English with an emphasis in professional technical writing, and then I'm going to get a minor in graphic design.
Sick. So yeah, I it's kind of crazy that we're already here because we were talking about this earlier today. Like it doesn't feel like we started that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been 3.5 years for me. Um, because like I did a half a year of college credit in high school, so like I kind of got a head start, and so I don't have to go 4 full years, which it's nice because it saves money. Like I've only been here 2.5 years with you because you kind of took a year off, so
Hmm.
it's felt even shorter. Like it hasn't been even close to 4 years.
Yeah, but it's crazy that it doesn't feel like it should be here yet. But at the same time, I we've mentioned it before. I know we have. It feels like a year passes every semester just because so much happens, or at least that's how it feels
A
for me.
year passes every semester. What do you
Yeah,
mean? Like,
like I feel like a year's worth of events can happen in a semester.
oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But also like a year passes by so quickly. Like in the time it takes for a semester to go by, a year
Mm-hmm.
will go by.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it both ways.
It's crazy. Um, but on that subject, I guess I challenged Jake with coming up with some of his favorite college experiences or moments or anything of the sort, and I've got I got a few of my own, but kind of wanted to just hear from you a little bit more, just
Well, the
because
first thing that popped in my head was when we went hiking and you peed your pants.
I I did not actually pee my
He
pants.
didn't pee his pants, but it looks like it, and we have a picture to prove he did.
I prove no. I if I remember editing this, maybe I'll throw in some of the pictures we're talking about if I
we
have them.
yeah, like we were just we were hiking. Someone was taking pictures. Remember good memories, and then she's like, "What the balls?" And we look at the picture, and Peyton's got a big giant wet spot on his pants. Like, how did that even happen? You
Okay,
dip yourself in the river?
you know what happened. So I'm gonna explain myself so people don't think I peed my pants on the
Well,
hike.
now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds a lot weirder. I never really thought about this before. Really, how did it get in that one spot?
Well, so what happened? Okay, this is what happened. On the hike we were on, there was like a river that you could walk through. Jake and one of our other friends, him and her walked up
Yeah,
around the river,
yeah, we
and
went up. I remember that.
I was gonna try to go through with another one of our friends, 2 of them I think,
Hmm.
and I was trying not to get wet. I was like climbing against the rocks, like trying to boost myself over this little, not really a river. River probably isn't the best word. It's
It's
like
like it's like in a little canyon, and yeah, it's like a stream. You, in some places, like Mississippi, you think river is like freaking huge. In Utah, a river is like tiny, like a little bit bigger than a stream. So it's like in between stream and a Utah river.
there you go. Um, and I accidentally fell in, right? And no, I was gonna get in. Then what happened was I was gonna get in because I couldn't make it any further, but I didn't want to get my tennis shoes wet.
Hmm.
So I take off my tennis shoes and I stuff my socks as far as back into my tennis shoes I can. I yell at our friend, "Hey, catch my shoes!" I throw one shoe, and she like was no like I threw it towards her, and instead of like reaching forward to grab it because I wasn't quite there, she freaked out and went, "It's not gonna make it!" And put her hands up in the air as my shoe then falls into the stream, and the stream was like up to my waist, and I was like, "No, my shoe!" So I go to throw her my other shoe as I'm closer, and she's too busy laughing that my other shoe flies past her and falls further behind her in the stream, and that one's also sinking. But as it's going, I see my sock fall out of it. So I'm chasing
Aw.
after socks and shoes. So I finally get them. It was just funny. Like I wasn't upset. Like I honestly wasn't upset about it at all. I thought it was
So
hilarious.
did you have to go diving?
So I had to go pretty much diving in there. So then I finally get my stuff. We get out.
So
And
you're
then,
soaked at this point, like
yes,
head to toe.
like when I reached in with only my right hand, and I like only came about halfway through my chest. So like my pants,
So like
and
half
legs,
your body,
half my body was pretty much wet, right?
up to your waist at least.
Yes. We get out. I get out. We get up and around. We did some climbing, and then we sat and we maybe like 30 minutes later, or maybe more like 15 minutes later, we get to a spot where we decided that we're gonna sit and take a break, right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there taking a break, eating snacks, and at this point it was like so hot that outside that I had pretty much dried, but I had been sitting
Ah.
in a way that like the sun, like because like how I was like crouched up on a rock,
Yeah.
so the sun wasn't getting to my crotch area of my pants.
So it drives
So it dried everything else but that.
And then it was perfect because in the picture, you're standing over the river, and like with like a foot on either side of the walls, so like you're like spread your legs out so you can perfectly see the giant wet spot.
And everyone thought I was doing it on purpose, so no one told me until we got back. And they're like, "Yeah, look like you peed your pants." And we took so many pictures, and I was like just happy taking pictures with my friends. Every picture, it looks like I peed myself.
Hey, I didn't know either until afterwards, but it was pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was the first thing that popped in my head. I don't know if that was my best college experience, but for some reason it's the first one that came to mind.
Me embarrassing myself, making it look like I peed myself. It's your best college experience?
Did you not just hear what I said?
I know, I'm teasing you. What else? Do you want me to share mine while you think of another one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So a lot of honestly, my favorite moments came from that like 2 weeks after the school shut down because of COVID.
I was not there.
I know, and I feel bad that some of these my favorite moments aren't with you because I feel like they should be. But
That's all good.
we a bunch of us got together and almost every day and hung out, which was a lot of fun. But the specific moment I really liked was when we went out to the strip and we had a huge, like not a huge fire, but like it was a pretty decent fire. We spent the some of us spent the day looking for wood, and I cut one of our friends' legs with the wood, which wasn't a fun time, but I remember doing that, and I apologize if you're listening to this again. But that fire was just a lot of fun. We all of us were able to go that were there. We just brought blankets and chairs, and we just played music, and we did karaoke, and I don't know, it was just a good time. Just good memory. I enjoyed that a lot, and I think everyone else had a lot of fun too. So, and then some of those people haven't come back since then, so it's kind of sad because that was pretty much the last time we all were together, and it was a good time.
It's kind of cool that you get these unique experiences from COVID. Like there were some, COVID sucks, but like without COVID, you wouldn't have had those 2 weeks where you just kind of get off of school and everyone's just kind of hanging around, don't know what to do, so you all hang out.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nice.
Another moment from those 2 weeks is we went to Zion, and we had the park tour pretty much ourselves. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but we went on one of the easier hikes, and we ran into like only two other people, and they're like a group. And one of the girls was most definitely wasted, and the other guy was like helping her through the hike. I was like, I don't think you should be taking your wasted friend or
that reminds
girlfriend.
me of a story.
But yeah, it was an awesome experience that I don't think anyone really is ever gonna have the chance to ever experience again, of having the entire National Park of Zion pretty much to yourself. Like if I knew that's how it was gonna be, I probably would have planned like an entire day instead of just like an on the whim hike. It was pretty.
I think that's how the national parks, at least in Utah, that's how they used to be. Like they weren't ever super busy, but now, even like especially Zion, they're so packed. Like every single hike, you're running into people nonstop, and there's no parking or anything. But I remember going as a kid, and it wasn't nearly that bad. Like it depended on the day. You could get crowds like that, but a lot of time it would just be you and your group for a long time, kind of like how you were saying. So yeah, it wasn't ever that crowded. But the story I was thinking of when you said that one girl was wasted and on the hike, I remember one time I was at Disneyland, I don't remember how old I was. I was probably like 14 maybe. And we were getting, so let's see. I think so there's like 6 of us in my family. We're all getting ready to go on Screaming. Now it's called the Incredicoaster, but it's the roller coaster with the loop-de-loop. Um, and it was this evening time. I think it was just gotten dark, so they had all the lights on. It was kind of cool. And we're all going on to the roller coaster, and everyone was ahead of me. I was the last person there, and so we were all kind of like jogging there. We wanted to get on fast before the line got on, like before the line got really long. And all of a sudden, I got yanked back, and I turned around. This guy's got a hold of my arm, and he was wasted out of his mind. Like it was kind of scary, but I mean, like he was just weird. He kept saying like, "Hey, tall guy, where are you going, tall guy?" And his girlfriend, I think his girlfriend was wasted too, but I think she was a little less wasted, and she realized like, oh shoot, we shouldn't be talking to people and like grabbing his arm. He had a grip like iron. It was crazy. I could not pull away from this guy's grip. So it was like kind of scary, but at the same time, I was like, it's Disneyland. He's probably just an actor.
What?
And then one of the security guards came out and was like, what's going on? Actually, no, the security guard didn't come up until after the guy's girlfriend had pulled him away and they ran off. And then he came up to me, he's like, hey, what'd that guy want? I was like, you couldn't have come and broken things up before instead of coming afterwards? Because I think he watched the whole thing happen. Yeah. I was like, oh,
Well,
you missed the chance to do your job. No, that's not what I said, but that's what I should have said.
to be fair, his badge is in the shape of Mickey Mouse.
Probably. It was an old guy. I don't know what he was going to do. That guy, he had a grip like iron. Probably destroy that old man with one punch.
Wow.
I don't know. Hypothetically. Don't really know. Don't know whatever happened to those guys. Probably that they fell into the pier and never
Oh,
came out.
I was about to say, hope they're doing well. And Jake's like, they're probably dead.
Well, I just imagine being high, all those lights, and right next to the water.
Oh.
All it takes is one slip.
That's awful.
Although Disney would never let you know about that.
No.
The bodies would be gone instantly.
Yes. They'll join the
Anybody who saw the splash would also be quietly removed.
Isn't that scary? Because it's probably true.
You want to ever know who's in those costumes?
Oh, that's even worse.
It's the reason they don't show their faces.
I saw a video where, maybe not, was it a video or like a picture? I think it was a picture of like the Goofy actor has his head off and like next to him, and he's just smoking a cigarette. And I was like, could you imagine as a little kid walking around the corner? That would ruin you.
Dad, I want to do that too.
Oh no.
Take my head off.
I thought you were talking about the cigarette.
Oh yeah, cigarette.
Oh man. That reminds me of another a story that I had with someone
Taking
who was
your head off.
no, that someone was like high. This isn't college stories. We'll get back to that in a sec. There was a time in high school when I was with Cassidy's band, and they were performing that night in Salt Lake. They had like a gig, and we
They got high before?
no. So what happened was we decided that we wanted to go early, get some food, and we had all like decided that we were all gonna wear like flannels. I don't know why, but we all wore flannels.
Okay.
Our group looked freaking fly, dude, let me tell you. But we stopped in the sketchiest place in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, there's some sketchy
I
places.
know, to eat in one of the sketchiest Wendy's ever. We walk in and this dude's selling hats in like the corner that looks like he knitted himself. And he like conned the drummer of the band, whose name's also Jake, who's just a really nice guy, into buying him food because he couldn't buy a hat from him. And in the other corner, it literally looked like I don't know exactly what was happening, but this girl, older lady I guess, was there with like this other older guy, and then there was this big, just like not muscular, but just big dude, like tall, like not quite fat, but he had some weight on him. And it wasn't muscle. He was just a big guy, huge beard, like looked like a biker guy. Was sitting there talking to him, and out of nowhere, um, we're just kind of like ordering our food. It's kind of sketchy. I'm sitting down. I look over. The woman says something that pisses off the biker. The biker stands up, and then the old man stands up. And I was like, these two are about to kill each other right now. And like, there's no way.
Biker versus old man. I think only one person is dying in that
But
situation.
they kind of like just they squared each other up. The woman's like, not here, not now. And then they sat down. I was like, where are we?
Hey,
we are in the worst.
maybe they were acting out a scene for High School Musical 4.
You're right. These old people. But anyway, so that's not even where I was trying to get to. So I just remember that also happening. I just remembered that now. We finally get our food. We're sitting down, and we see these people like fighting outside. Then this guy busts open the door, and it was kind of scary because like the first time I've ever really seen anyone on drugs. And he comes up to us and he goes, "Kids!" Slaps his hand on the table. His eyes are like the whites of his eyes are really red, and his eyes were moving so fast back and forth. You could tell he wasn't focusing on anything. He's like, did you guys see? They pushed me down and tried to kill me. That's not at all what happened. Like we watched it. This dude clearly was on some intense hallucinated. How do you say that word?
Hallucinogens?
Yeah. And he goes, "Come on, kids, we gotta get him back. I know some guys. We can get some guns. We gotta go get him right now." And he goes and kicks open the window door again. "Come on, kids!" And he like runs outside and just ran away, ran across the street.
You know what you should have done? Aye, Captain.
And just stormed out with him.
I can't hear you.
Oh man. Oh, but it was like I didn't know what to do, and like all the other guys looked down, and I made the mistake of looking him right in the eyes, and he like made kind like when he was speaking, he looked at me, only me the entire time, so I made the mistake. But yeah, that guy just ran across the street, middle of all this traffic, just weaving through stuff, and just kept running, never came back. It was just a crazy experience, and I was like, wow, I don't ever want to be back in this part of town again. And then as we were leaving, one of the workers was like, "Just so you guys know, your guys' group, I love your style." We're like, "Thanks," because we're all wearing flannels, and we walk outside, and then that same girl runs out and then asks the drummer who bought food for the guy if she could get his number, and he gave it to her, and we're in the car.
Wait, you mean the employee said you guys looked good?
Yeah, she came
I
out.
thought you were talking about the old woman.
Oh, not the old woman. No, sorry, the employee.
What is going on?
The old woman. And we get back in the car, and I was like, "Dude, you realize she, like, seems kind of weird, or like, and she might also be kind of young, because I think we were like seniors at this time." And he's like, "Yeah, but it's okay." And then it's just kind of quiet for a little bit, and he goes, "Oh," and we like look back. He goes, "I put the wrong last number." He like just trying to be nice, accidentally gave the wrong number. It was so funny. He was so sad. I was like, "Were you ever gonna talk to her?" He's like, "No, but now I can't even like."
Pretend to talk to her.
So funny. So funny. Anyways, off the drug stories. Unless you have another college drug related one.
College and drugs?
Yeah, because we eat the weed on the daily.
It's technically a dry campus, like it's drug free.
Yeah.
It's like alcohol free.
Clearly, I don't really understand because I said we eat weed. I think you smoke weed. I mean, I think you can eat weed if you cook it, but I don't know.
You can eat whatever you want.
You're right.
I've eaten some weird stuff.
Like what?
Dog poo.
You've eaten dog poo, like as a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping it
No, not an adult.
Yesterday.
Like I was probably like 2 or something.
I think I've done the same thing.
Still gross.
It is way disgusting that we can do that.
Not that I can remember it, but I can.
I ever just saw a kid just going ham on some dog poo.
Oh, that reminds me of another story. My cousin, we were all at Bear Lake. Underneath a picnic table was my cousin.
Taking poop?
He was not wearing pants. But something was coming out of him. Looked like a hot dog. It's not a hot dog. After that, like, you know, he took a good 2 minutes to get that thing out of there. And by that time, like, there's about 20 of us staring at him. He looked around at us. He just started crying. He didn't know what was going on, and to be honest, neither did we. It's like, who just crawls under a picnic table at a beach and starts taking a poo? There was like 20 of us there just looking at him. And then he starts crying. If you're gonna be ashamed, don't do it in the first place.
I'm gonna cry. The way you explained the story was probably the funniest thing you've ever said. Oh, why'd you explain it like that?
Anyways, he hasn't done anything like that since then. But it was really weird, and you know, it's a story that comes up frequently at dinner time. Because it did look like a hot dog.
Stop! Stop! I'm crying. There's no way it's actually that funny. I think it's just because it's 2 a.m.
It was kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. Those funny shiz.
It was shiz.
Oh.
It's probably the funniest shiz I've ever witnessed. Actually, it's probably the only shiz I've ever witnessed. Now that I think about it, I can't remember another time I've witnessed it.
Stop. Stop. I'm seriously crying. Oh, go back to college stories, please.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay.
Nothing else to that story.
Oh, my goodness. Tears.
Didn't I say it? That was a college story. Just kidding. I think that was before I came to college.
I hope so.
Actually, I don't know. The cousin was young. Just so everyone knows.
I would assume so. Oh man, honestly, I think that might be the funniest thing you've ever told me.
It wasn't like a 20-year-old cousin. That would be really weird. Or like an uncle. Uncle Joey! What are you doing?
My Uncle Joey.
Aunt Margaret, look! Stop your husband!
Kenny's probably thinking, what the heck?
I don't have an Uncle Joey or an Aunt Margaret. But,
if I did,
that's probably what would happen.
Oh, man. Oh.
I don't remember what we were talking about before.
College stories. You have any good more college experiences that you want to share?
Not sure how I got onto that tangent.
I don't know either.
College stories. I feel like we've talked about some in other podcasts, but I do not remember what we've said already.
I just want your favorite moments, like the ones that you think you'll think about for a while. You're like, when you think about your college experience, you're like, yeah, and like the good memories that flash through your head.
Well, we might have already talked about this, but some of the good memories were when like the very first day I got there and we first met people, because that's memorable. It's like, well, this is the first time I ever saw you and we ever hung out. So let's see what we did. It was a fugitive activity held by the school. And yeah, I think I met like 2 or 3 of our friends that day. And yeah, we're still friends. Another thing that was kind of cool about that first year, I guess it was actually my second year, but it's kind of my first year. It was my first year with Peyton. It was kind of my first year hanging out with everybody. And the cool thing about that is, like, we were in these crappy homes, which, you know, that wasn't cool. But since they were, like, so small and compact, like, everybody's right next to each other. So, like, you walk out your door and you see, like, 2 people outside their door. And it's like, oh, it's like all my friends are right here. So I thought that was kind of cool. It created like a close little group. So that was, even though those apartments sucked and I will never live there again, it was cool for that reason. Like,
It did create a weirdly like nice, almost family feeling atmosphere.
yeah, like we watched Friends the reunion a little while ago, and the directors were saying like in that time of life, your friends are your family. Like that's definitely how it felt.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Um,
In fact, we even called people mom and dad.
we did, and it's still kind of a joke that happens now.
Except like Elena was mom.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could dispute that.
No,
I'm not really sure who dad was though.
there was a couple.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. That's not what. That's not a bad thing. There's like this. Everyone wanted to be called dad for some reason. Um, One of my favorite moments. I don't know if we've talked about this either. I probably have. The podcast is probably just us rehashing the same stories every couple months. But do you know where I'm going to go with this with the towers? Do you want to tell it instead? Do you know what story I'm probably going to go with?
I don't know what you're talking about. No.
When we had we had how many? I think there was like 5 or 6 people over, and it started off with
Oh,
them
we
just-
stayed up till like 2 a.m. Or
Yeah,
no, it was like 4.
5.
It was 4 a.m.
4,
Yeah.
something like that. We stayed up until about 4 or 5 a.m. and
Yeah, that was good.
Originally they were just coming over, and it was like I think it was like 9 o'clock, and people were just like coming over to hang out and do homework, and then people just didn't leave, and then we just kept joking around, and like we should have gotten a noise complaint that night. I don't know how we didn't.
Well, it's because everybody else made noise too.
You're right.
So it's like, meh.
But yeah, we were up till 5, and people were like just debating at that point if they should just stay and sleep.
We've got 2 beds and like 8 people.
So Elena slept.
Oh yeah, she did. She fell asleep on the floor.
And I was trying to be polite and like lift her up into the bed, and I was gonna sleep on the floor, but moving her was not gonna be an option.
That was funny. Wow, she could give me a run for my money in sleeping in weird places.
Right? And so I just kind of like moved her a little bit because she was kind of in a weird spot, and it went her hit her head.
That was funny. That
Gave her a pillow, and
that
then
morning she woke up. She's like, "What the heck?"
I know. Her Snapchat story was like, "Where am I?" And she's just recording me and you in our sleep, and she's like, "Have I been kidnapped?" It's so funny. She had no idea where she was.
That was a funny night. Then Emery hit her head on the window.
Yeah, that's where the "you're unique" came from, or "I'm unique."
I'm unique. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, she like pinched my cheek while I was falling asleep. Like I was just falling asleep. I hardly knew this person.
At the time, yeah.
She's just sitting on my bed. Everyone's kind of talking. I'm falling asleep. All of a sudden, there's this searing pain in my face. And I was so confused. My eyes shot open. It's like, what just happened?
And I think she's like, "Don't go to sleep."
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? This is my room. This is my bed. I want to fall asleep.
Oh, man, that night was fun.
Also, who pinches a cheek anymore?
I
That's
don't.
like
No, she didn't.
60-year-old grandma.
She went to like poke your cheek, and
Oh,
she
yeah,
just
she
poked with
poked
such
Ferocity.
veracity. Is that the right word for that?
There's ferocity or velocity.
Both.
I don't really know what velocity is. I think I'm gonna go with ferocity.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was a good night. The best part was when.
I got her back though, like a year later when we went to the drive-in.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, she fell asleep. Well, actually, she was falling asleep, and I smacked her in the face so hard.
You hit her?
No, I didn't hit her. Like I poked her.
Oh,
like
okay.
I swear my finger was swallowed inside of her cheek, but not like into her mouth, in the cheek.
That night was funny because
That made me feel better.
for some reason, like, I thought it was funny because for some reason, like,
She would not shut up during the whole
no,
movie.
that's Emery for you. I thought it was so funny, but like, Jake, you're usually pretty quiet until like unless it takes like it being late and you having a reason to talk to like open up like this, and I think you've gotten better definitely since like the beginning of school year 2, which is social.
Beginning of school year like this,
Or like
the
beginning of school. Sorry.
Yeah, I
sorry.
agree.
But
On rare full
for
moons.
some reason, no matter what, Emery could just get you to
She
talk.
would drive me crazy. Like yeah, I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
So funny, the entire movie, like we're at the drive-in, and four of us are in one trunk, and I can just
One trunk?
wait.
Bed. We're in the truck bed.
Yeah, sorry. And him and I were together, and they were just like, pass us snacks.
No, that was her. She was doing all the talking.
I would just hear you occasionally. What are you talking?
Yeah, what? Literally, that's what I was about to say. Like,
oh man, it was so funny. But I know you were having fun over there, even though she was driving you nuts.
yeah, it was a fun night. That was good.
That was a good time.
It was fun because I think, was that the COVID summer?
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the first summer. So like me and you had hung out because, we were in the same town. But beside that, everybody else really hadn't done anything. So it was cool because we all kind of came back and hung out during the summer.
Mm-hmm. It was a good time. We had some good memories. Do you
What movie did we? Oh, it was Back to the Future.
Back to the Future 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was good. Those are good movies.
My first time seeing them.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any last one you want to give? I'm down to let this one go on a little bit longer, but it is getting there.
Man, I feel like most of the real good memories were during that first year. But again, I feel like I've forgotten most of them.
Yeah.
What I sincerely hope, like after we all die, that like there'll be a place where we can just like remember all our old memories. Like there's gonna be like this, not a filing cabinet because that would suck to go through, but like a flash drive, or maybe that would even suck. But some place where we've got like all our old memories that we've forgotten, just the good ones. I don't want to remember all the bad stuff. But yeah, like all these good memories that we've forgotten, and we can just be like, oh man, that was freaking awesome. Just like scroll through our life, like all the highlights, and be like, dang, I remember that.
Maybe we'll get like a Watch Mojo top 10 when we die.
I want on a top like 1,000. If I'm gonna live like 100 years, or even at 21, if I die tomorrow, I still think I could get a top 1,000.
Probably. Well, I think we'll probably end this one here. If we think of more stories for some summer or college experiences, we can go back to that. I can't be putting out any promises how often we'll be uploading because my schedule's busy, his is busy, but yeah. I do want to try to...
This was fun, though.
Yeah, I want to get podcasts out. I want to do more live action stuff. I know I say it all the time, but I just don't know if I'll, when that's going to come out, so I'm not going to promise that. Something we did start last podcast that I want to continue is Jake's Spotify, or I guess not Spotify, but like music recommendation for the podcast.
Oh, like I give a song?
Yeah, because we mentioned last time how you kind of just have a song that you listen to on repeat.
Okay.
So like, what's Jake's song?
So the past week or two. Well, okay. I'll kind of give you two.
Okay.
So over the summer, I watched like the first season. Yeah, I watched the first season of Glee. So I was into a lot of Glee songs. My favorite Glee song. Man, I don't know about that. There's a lot of like they're all covers. There's no original songs. I don't know. I like Next to Me from Glee. I don't know if that's my favorite one, but that's a good one. But kind of more recently, I went through Old Dominion on Spotify and looked through all of their albums, just listening to all their songs, seeing if I liked any of them. And yeah, there's a few I like. One, well, I've always liked Break Up With Them. That's always been up there. But recently I discovered Snapback and
Snapback is good, dude.
And Song for Another Time. And Song for Another Time is probably my favorite one right now. Also, there's like I Was on a Boat That Day. That one's another good one.
That one's a good one too.
But yeah, so I kind of been listening to Old Dominion a lot recently. But if I had to pick one, it would be Song for Another Time. I like that one a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I like this little segment.
Right. Mine two that I've been kind of obsessed with recently is Drink to That All Night by Jared Neiman. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And then
Oh,
the other one that I've kind of liked right now is Redneck Be Like by Thomas Rhett.
yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So those are kind of my two that I've got going on right now. So, yeah. Any last words?
I thought those were our last words.
Nope, those were. Goodbye.